So in the last week, I have solved two problems. One is I was able to increase my productivity by a lot, and I keep doing it every day. So it's working. It's not just something you do for 2 days because you're excited and then let it go. And the second problem it solved is I go to bed feeling accomplished. Don't usually do that because all I can see is what I didn't get done. And so I'm going to show you how I've done that. And my team is doing that. And we are all noticeably more productive without anyone having to uh, be stressed. If anything, you're less stressed. And the thing in work culture is typically you might tell people what you're working on in a rough, general 30,000-foot view. And we discovered that if you write down a little bit of what you did, then what you're gonna do. So a do did. What did you do that day? What are you gonna do tomorrow? That was more helpful. It just made you accountable, just like a workout buddy would make you accountable to go work out. Now, we upped it a notch, and I'm gonna show you what I've done here. So this was yesterday, and we can go all the way back to last week. I journal my time as I go. Actually, the way it does looks now is actually just write the time as I go here, and uh, and then I move on. And so when I hit 7, in this case, you can see 6:30 in the morning. Yes, um, I'm doing a BTS thing. When I'm done, I'm gonna clock out my time. I try doing it in half-hour increments. I don't want to get so granular that it's a pain in the ass. That is, there's a balance between all this, but you can see that I can group things. Emails, it got rid of I inbox 0, got all my texts, and planned my day out by 7 in the morning. And then the first thing I did was the least fun thing I did, and I just write down what I did as I went, and it keeps me on track because there's different points throughout the day where I I don't have to do something in that moment, but my to-do list is massive, and I predetermine what I'm going to do that day. So today, my goal is, and this is not in order, the BTS thing's a little bit before this, but I'm going to work on the hook episode that I need to do, and then I'm going to film 4 shorts. This thing, I have some world record projects we're working on, the paperwork for that, organize some preliminary footage for the sunscreen episode, and I'm going to go to the store, talk about Z3s with Chase and Zach. And so, like, you add all that up, that's about 10 or 11 hours. And so I know to stop. I know to stop thinking I can do more. And that has been really helpful to be like, that is going to make me happy or not happy at the end of the day if I accomplish that. And then I'd be like, you know what? I actually don't need those shorts today. I'm going to put in this other thing that's more important. And so when 6, 7, 8, 9 o'clock rolls around, you can see I sometimes work later than other days. My more productive hours typically stop around 8 o'clock. But I'm definitely thinking about work till 9:30. Um, and then I can see what billable hours, if you're a lawyer, what are your billable hours? Or as a painting contractor, what hours were you out painting versus literally I had a timesheet back in the day of dead hours. Hours I worked, hours I was wearing my painting clothes, I was cleaning the shop, cleaning the van, doing paperwork, budgets, invoices in the office, not being able to charge a customer for it. We don't operate that way in retail or in YouTube, but that's why I haven't done it so far. And now in the last week, I have found myself to be quite productive. In this case, I wrote down what I did and then the times. Um, and I'd add it up, and it was all kind of a solid day. I'm happy with that. It feels like I work 16 hours a day. Sometimes I don't. It's nice to see that I don't. Also, one of my goals is to only work 40 hours a week, 6 days a week, if I'm home. If I'm on a trip, that's why I work 6 days a week, is so I can go on trips, and a lot of my trips are work. But go with the example. If I want to only work 40 hours, 6 days a week, then I want to keep track of the thing I'm having a goal about. And so if I'm getting 11, 13, 12, 11, 13 hours a day in, then I can see if I can start scaling that back 1 day a week until I can get all my days every week to be at 40 hours, which means I have to bite off less here, which I can if I'm willing to get less done, but I'm willing to get less done once I build up my team. So this has been going on for about a week. The team at the store has been doing it, and either my perception of how productive they are has changed, or they are actually more productive. Either way, that's great. And then Chase, who works on SlackSnap, he also does that. And it gives me, as somebody who's managing all the plates and somebody as the boss and CEO, the person who pays payroll, the buyer, the guy standing in front of the camera having to talk to you guys like all the time about what we're getting done, it gives me wonderful, lovely data. And it set the foundation for us to be able to hire a store manager within, because now they have something to manage. They have, they are the ones who are primarily accountable for the people at the store. But that's a whole nother video. But I do like how this is the foundation for that. And it's not like we want people to pack in a very specific amount of time. We do allow in our schedule, when they set up their goal for the day, 6 minutes per order, and just multiply by how many orders they have. Double that, because more orders will come in for the day, and that's how much time they're allotted. If that's 12 people hours and it needs to be done by 1 or 2 o'clock, whenever the mailman comes, we should probably give them some help. And it's really nice to know that at 7 o'clock in the morning. So it's really nice to know that you have an hour deficit if there's only 3 people and there's a ton of stuff to restock. It's nice to know that in the morning, so you don't feel like you need to go get to the squash project where we're flaking all this tagline into these bags. If you know ahead of time that you don't have time for that, and so you're just stressed all day that you can't get to filming 4 shorts if it literally doesn't add up. Yesterday, I actually had a lot of fun. I was in a Zoom meeting, and I was able to put the sunscreen on the 30 rope samples while I was in the meeting. And I killed 2 birds with 1 stone. Technically, I was 12 and a half hours productive. And my goal is to beat the time I allotted. Like, I only had an hour to do that. I did it in a half an hour. And then the on-pace stuff ended up taking longer, but that's okay. I can justify that. And then for a while, around 11 or 12, I got a little sloppy and I didn't write this down. And I was like, where did 10:30 to 11:30 go? It just poof. And it's because my totem distributor called me, and then my store landlord called because I'm interested in expanding. Well, that sucked up an hour. And it was legitimate hours, two very important phone calls. But I go to bed that night knowing that I did something productive, and I am not just looking at the big pile of stuff I didn't do. So that's been very, very helpful for me on my day, but also for my team. So I like to share any of our business wins or losses on this channel in order to help you, if you have a business or want to start a business, just see how somebody actually does it. I think too many channels are pie in the sky advice, all theoretical. They don't show you what they actually did for the day. And eventually, once I figure out different nuances in my budget, I'm actually excited to share those. So subscribe if you really like this content in our email newsletter at hownoto.com/signup. It's at the bottom of every email if I make a BTS video. And we're making different rules in our business. And so that'll be coming up soon. But you can go check out the 3 categories that we have, which is how I make my content, the business side, and retail. So those are the 3 categories on the channel. Thanks for watching.